let us briefly summarize the main theses of this work. A number of ancient geographical maps and megalithic complexes suggest the existence of an extraordinarily advanced civilization on Earth in the past. This civilization possessed profound scientific knowledge and actively utilized technologies unknown to us. The results of its activities include a global network of megaliths, complex architectural structures, remarkable artifacts, models of rockets and airplanes, unusual devices and figures in spacesuits, maps of Earth with precise depictions of Antarctica before it was covered by ice, and many other achievements. The period of this civilization's demise can be correlated with the cataclysms marking the end of the last ice age. Numerous geological, paleontological, geophysical, and written records indicate that about 12,000 years ago, a global catastrophe, or a series of catastrophes, occurred, known as the Great Flood. This cataclysm likely destroyed, washed away, or buried in the depths of oceans, seas, lakes, and other natural traps a significant portion of Earth's animal life, humanity, and pre-existing settlements and artifacts. The cause of this disaster was likely cosmic in nature, a shift in Earth's axis, or the impact of a comet or asteroid. Mesopotamia is rightfully considered the most advanced civilization of the post-flood period. Its scholars displayed notable expertise in mathematics and astronomy, as well as a moral and ethical cultural framework. The Sumerians attributed their multifaceted knowledge, skills, and inventions to beings who descended from the heavens, the Anunnaki. Their knowledge included general information about the structure of the solar system, details of certain objects, such as the asteroid belt, Saturn's rings, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and, of course, Earth. Elements of Sumerian cosmology can be found among the ancient Egyptians and Native Americans. The creation of Homo sapiens is attributed to a series of genetic experiments aimed at producing and cloning a biological assistant for mining precious metals, and later for serving the Anunnaki. Legends about gods descending from the heavens and the ancient obsession with gold, its extraction and accumulation for subsequent surrender to the gods, are remarkably similar across continents. Genetic and paleontological data support the emergence of early humans in Southeast Africa, from where they spread across the planet. This region, rich in gold deposits, has mining operations dating back approximately 100,000 years. Ancient mines and extensive underground tunnels are also known on the American continent. Mesopotamian, biblical, and apocryphal texts state that the heavenly visitors often interacted with earthly women, resulting in the birth of hybrids, demigods. Such interbreeding sometimes caused outrage among ruling Anunnaki. Moreover, the controlled reproduction of primitive workers eventually gave way to their uncontrolled natural reproduction. The violation of Anunnaki laws and a sharp population increase may have prompted the decision to destroy humanity, with one of the natural disasters leading to the Great Flood. Linguistic and cultural similarities between distant ancient civilizations have been noted by many scholars. This similarity is further evidenced by the existence of numerous similar megalithic complexes worldwide, constructed using technologies unknown to modern science. Studying these complexes has revealed that they encode substantial scientific information. Many ancient texts confirm that primitive humans were taught the basics of culture and knowledge. Moreover, various artifacts, which could only have been created using advanced technologies, have been discovered. Archaeological finds and documented historical accounts depict numerous flying machines and their divine operators. Analyses of corresponding texts and visuals by researchers confirm that our ancestors frequently witnessed the flights, landings, and takeoffs of these devices. In some cases, humans even flew in them and participated in building launch pads and hangars. Alongside educational activities, some gods' words and actions toward humans revealed impatience and cruelty, as vividly illustrated in biblical texts and ancient Indian epics. Unceasing conflicts among the Anunnaki and their direct descendants sparked wars, reflected in ancient epics and chronicles. The use of powerful destructive systems and extraterrestrial weapons likely destroyed or severely damaged many alien bases. Numerous megaliths, pyramids, and underground tunnels and cities are likely remnants of structures from their direct rule. The large number of artificial ruins on the Moon and Mars, along with frequent observations of unexplained ufological phenomena near and on their surfaces, indirectly supports the hypothesis of paleocontact. It is conceivable that active extraterrestrial mining installations still exist on the Moon. Discoveries in exobiology over the past decades suggest that the cosmos is relatively densely populated, likely with diverse forms of life. Extensive archives of UFO sightings, both historical and recent, align with theories of a living cosmos and panspermia, while indicating Earth has attracted heightened attention from extraterrestrial civilizations for ages. Scientific data supports the existence of a 10th planet in the solar system. Parameters from certain calculations and hypotheses align well with information about Nibiru Marduk recorded by Mesopotamian astronomers thousands of years ago. When each of these elements is considered in isolation, it may seem possible to find natural explanations or attribute them to remarkable coincidences. However, the existence of a single vast complex of mysteries and coincidences on a global scale and connected to ancient history compels recognition of something monumental behind them. In this context, the hypothesis of paleocontact appears the simplest, most explanatory and logical. However, the ultimate judgment of its persuasiveness lies with you. The study of the ancient Near East at the turn of the 20th century forced scholars to fundamentally revise the entire history of the past, which had previously been reduced to the Hellenistic and late Babylonian periods. In fact, the history of this most remarkable archaeological discovery has already spanned more than a century and a half. The Chaldeans and their astonishing knowledge were known from the books of the Old Testament. Mentions have also survived of one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Hanging Gardens of Semiramis in Babylon, and of the existence of the Chaldean and Assyrian kingdoms. However, until the second half of the 19th century, historians had only fragmentary, often contradictory, and frequently distorted information about Mesopotamia. Let us recall that geographically, the concept of Mesopotamia corresponds to the territory of the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The word itself, translated from Greek, means between rivers. On a modern map, Mesopotamia would encompass most of Iraq, the southeastern part of Turkey, and the eastern region of Syria. Until the second half of the 19th century, the primary sources of information about ancient Mesopotamia remained the Bible and the works of ancient Greek and Roman authors. The most detailed information and descriptions were provided by Herodotus, the father of history. However, he did not know the Eastern languages and relied on the services of translators, who often deliberately distorted and embellished events or the content of legends. Regarding the Old Babylonian kingdom, Akkad and Sumer, Herodotus provided no data at all, and for more recent times he often reported frankly unreliable information. This does not diminish the significance of his works, but requires caution when evaluating the information they provide. Much more accurate and valuable information is contained in the works of the Babylonian priest and astronomer Berossus, a contemporary of Alexander the Great. In the 3rd century BCE, this priest from the Temple of Marduk moved to the Aegean island of Kos, where he taught the Greeks about Sumerian Babylonian cosmogony, mathematics, history, etc. He wrote Wisdom, a book based on cosmological and scientific concepts of the Sumerians, and Babyloniaca, based on Babylonian history. The first book describes events of pre-flood times. In it, Berossus tells about the creation of the world and a certain Oannes, a half-fish, half-man who appeared in Mesopotamia during a time when people still lived like wild animals. Oannes taught them the basics of agriculture, writing, mathematics, architecture, and various arts. Historians associate Oannes with the Sumerian Uana and the Akkadian Umana, and consider him a symbol of a bringer of civilization. The second book contains the so-called king list, according to which the first kings reigned for 20 to 60,000 years. It also mentions the main hero of the flood, Ziusudra. The list includes the names of rulers from ancient pre-flood times up to the reign of King Nabonassar, who lived from 747 to 734 BC. Berossus's third book recounts the history of Babylonia from Nabonassar to his own era. It is reliably known that Berossus used genuine written sources stored in the Babylonian temples. His works are considered priceless by historians. However, by the 19th century, these once voluminous writings had survived only in the form of fragments copied by Alexander Polyhistor in the 1st century CE. Thus, until the mid-19th century, the history of Mesopotamia was known only fragmentarily, and even then beginning only from the 1st millennium BCE.